for you today. I'm glad you found this yoga practice that is part of my Fearless Play series. This one is for May 26, 2021, and it's a little different from what we usually do. There's some kneeling and some prop-assisted forward folding. So you might need something you can use as a cushion, something you can use as blocks, maybe a strap or something you can use as a strap. A wall or a chair might come in handy. I also have an extra mat here, but you can use the mat that you already have or a blanket. There's a lot of focus here on the hips, the low back, the hamstrings, as well as the knees and the quads. There's a playlist that's associated with this practice, and I'll put the link right here. Now let's get started. If you are using the playlist, it's dated May 26, 2020, so today, but a year ago today. So if you're using that playlist that starts with Miles Dyson's Grave, then go ahead and get it started. And then once you have your playlist started, then you're going to start on your back, unless you prefer starting in a different position, in which case feel free to do so. And as you're starting on your back, if you want to do little legs up the wall or legs up a chair, you could sit sideways so that the side of your hip is up against the wall or the door. And then keeping your hip up against the wall, you're going to swivel so your legs go up and your back comes down so your bottom stays up against the wall or the door. Another option, if you have a chair or a table, a little short coffee table handy, is you could do legs up the chair so that you lie down and bend your knees so your hips, knees, and ankles are at 90 degrees, heels resting on the prop. And then no matter where you are, take a moment to relax, take a moment to release. If you're pregnant and you're comfortable on your back, legs up the wall is prenatal approved, as long as you and your doctor agree that you're still comfortable on your back, or your practitioner. So once you get into a position where you're comfortable, place your arms so that your neck and shoulders are comfortable. You can have arms by your sides or resting on your thighs. You can have one hand on your heart or one hand on your belly, or both arms overhead like you're going through airport security. Either way, close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, and then let's set a group intention. May all of us together be protected. May all of us together be nourished. May we work together with great energy. May our study together be brilliant and effective. May we not hate or dispute with one another. May there be peace within us, peace all around us, peace to and from everything and everyone we encounter. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then as you inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose, I want you to bring your awareness to how it feels to be here, how it feels to breathe here. Filling up as you inhale, emptying out completely as you exhale. This week I'm really focusing, even more so than normal, focusing on breathing. How it feels to breathe, how it feels to breathe in certain situations, how it feels for other people to breathe every time we inhale, every time we exhale. So today, I'm going to just have you consider what it feels like to breathe in space. I mean, like literally to breathe in outer space, not just to breathe into the space you're in. And then consider what it would feel like to breathe in space if you were a woman, if you were someone that was in a field predominantly occupied by people of another gender. What if you were also a member of the LGBTQIA community, but people didn't realize that? You weren't out at the height of your career. How would that feel to breathe? And at the same time, I want you to consider what it would feel like to breathe out music.
like literally, like you're playing a wind instrument or a horn. And every time you exhale, you're just making the most amazing music. Almost like you're a legend, almost like you're a genius. But not only are you breathing out music, what if you were doing it in a really dark body, a really dark, masculine, male identified body? And even though you grew up in a fairly well-off family, what if everyone assumed that you were really poor and uneducated? How would those different factors affect the way you breathe? Take a moment to go a little deeper. On your next inhale, begin your Ujjayi Pranayama, breath of victory. Bring a slight constriction to the back of your throat as you inhale through your nose. Maintaining that constriction as you exhale through your nose, creating an audible and expansive breath, an oceanic and heat-building breath, a detoxifying breath, a breath that brings your awareness to what it might feel like to breathe if you were a legend like Miles Davis or Sally Ride. Both born today,
May 26th.
They were legends. They were innovators. They were game changers. Miles Davis was born today in 1926. And as I said, he was born into a really well-to-do family. He actually attended the Institute of Musical Art, which is now known as Juilliard, studied in jam sessions with jazz greats like Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. He's a trailblazer who kicked off the cool jazz movement, developed hard bop, and ultimately fused jazz with rock and funk. And he was constantly losing old fans, winning new fans, and then gaining the old fans back because he did what he told the other musicians to do. He didn't play what was there, he played what wasn't there. And when people called him a legend, Miles Davis said, "A legend is an old man with a cane, known for what he used to do. I'm still doing it." Sally Ride was born today in 1951. She was the first American woman in space and the third woman overall, since there were 2 Soviet cosmonauts that preceded her into space. As far as I know, she's still the youngest American astronaut to have traveled into space. And as I mentioned before, even though it wasn't known at the time, she was the first American GLBTQIA astronaut. She said, "I've discovered that half the people would love to go into space, and there's no need to explain it to them. The other half can't understand, and I couldn't explain it to them. Even if someone doesn't know why, I can't explain it." Sally Ride didn't intend to be a role model, but she discovered that she was because gender was constantly coming up in her interviews and discussions about her career. And so she embraced that role. She started creating programs to extend the math and sciences, make it more welcoming to women and girls. In a 2006 USA Today interview with Robert Allen Benson, she said, "Suppose you come across a woman lying on the street with an elephant sitting on her chest. You notice she is short of breath. Shortness of breath can be a symptom of heart problems. In her case, the much more likely cause is the elephant on her chest. For a long time, society put obstacles in the way of women who wanted to enter the sciences. That is the elephant. Until the playing field has been leveled and lingering stereotypes are gone, you can't even ask the question." As we move through this practice, I want you to breathe. Just as I said yesterday, breathe for yourself, but also breathe for people who are marginalized. Breathe for those people, maybe who feel like they're going through life with the elephant sitting on their chest. As we move through this practice, I'll be offering prenatal variations as well as modifications if you want to skip the arm balancing. And remember that child's pose, Balasana, is your modification for every pose. You can go there at any time, take a deep breath in, take a deeper breath out, and join the sequence when you're ready. Next time you exhale, bend your knees. If you're on the wall, feet are going to be flat on the wall for a moment. You can open up your knees into a sleeping butterfly here. Those of you that are flat on your back, if you're pregnant, keep your feet on the floor. If you're on your back, not on the wall, and you're not pregnant, you can bring your knees into your chest and move around a little bit. Those of you that are on the wall, take a moment to roll to your left and just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Those of you that are flat on your back, if you're pregnant, roll to the left. If you're not pregnant, feel free to rock and roll. We're going to move into standing forward fold. Those of you that rolled over to your left, take your time to crawl up. You can make your way to your half lift position first. Those of you that are rocking and rolling, come to that half lift position so that your feet are flat on the floor, shoulders in line with your hips. It's just like that legs up the wall position, but now you're standing. And then next time you exhale, bring your hands to your hips, core engages, pressing down as you inhale. Everyone lift your whole body up. As you exhale, relax your arms down. And then take a moment, just move around a little bit. Find your center, find your balance with your shoulders over your hips, hips over your ankles. And then either bring your hands together at heart center or bring one hand at your heart, one hand at your belly. You can have both arms down by your side. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And bring your awareness to your goal, your desire, your reason for being on the mat today. Consider how you may be an innovator, how you may inspire people around you. Just by living your life, just by achieving your goals. And then bring your awareness to someone other than yourself, someone you'd like to energetically support as we move through this practice. And offer up your efforts as a loving and compassionate dedication. Let's unify the breath. Exhale all your air out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then as you inhale, resume your ujjayi. Breathe in through your nose. Exhale through your nose with that slight constriction at the back of your throat. Fill up as you inhale. Empty out as you exhale. Next time you inhale, blink your eyes open. As you exhale, relax your arms down. We're just going to do a little shoulder shrug here. So as you inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, roll your shoulders down and back. Take one more time to do that to get into the front of the heart. And then to get to the back of the heart, inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll the shoulders down and forward. 2 more times to get into the back of the heart. And then go the other way again. You can wiggle your shoulders a little bit. And then listen, as you inhale, stretch your arms overhead. And as you exhale, your hands heart center, walk to the back of your mat. And then bring your hands to your low back. You can cinch your waist or drape your fingertips down your bum. Either way, squeeze your elbows together, lift your heart up as you inhale. Exhale into a baby back bend. Use your core as you inhale, lift your heart up. Arms can be overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Take your full breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, hands to your thighs or bend your elbows and knees and put your elbows on your thighs. Either way, as you inhale, shrug your shoulders up to your ears. Exhale, roll your shoulders to your hips. Even if you have to bend your knees here, as you inhale, find a little bit of caliper so the heart's forward and the gaze is forward. As you exhale, zip up. What I mean by that is spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together like you're trying not to go to the bathroom, belly button up and back. If you're pregnant, you could visualize a zipper that closes when you run it down your sacrum, through your pelvic floor, up to your belly button. So down your back side, down your bottom, and then up to the front of your belly. And everyone, next time you exhale, bend your knees a little bit, keeping your heels on the mat. And then inhale, straighten your legs as much as you're able. Exhale, engage your hamstrings as you flex the knees. And then inhale, engage your quadricep on the front of your thighs to straighten the legs, extend the knees. Do that like 2 or 3 more times, following the breath. It's getting a little extension and a little release. And the next time you exhale, bend your knees, lengthen out your spine as you inhale. Stay here if you have low back issues, unregulated blood pressure, eye issues like glaucoma. Everyone else, as you exhale, flex and fold. Today, I recommend wrapping your arms around your legs. But you can, of course, take any variation you like. But if you wrap your arms around your legs, you're going to create a little bit more close shin engagement, a little bit more stability, a little bit more traction for your spine. And if you want to, once you have that bind, straighten your legs a little bit as you inhale and then bend your knees again as you exhale. Feel free to do so, maintaining your bind. And notice that connection. Notice how things come together, how things are put together. Also, make sure you're not bouncing here. You want to follow the breath. Even when the music gets a little boppy, don't follow the music, follow the breath. And then next time you exhale, bend your knees, hearts on your thighs or between your thighs. As you inhale, you can start to straighten your legs, letting your body release into your Uttanasana. And you may be thinking, so what? So what if somebody's life is different from mine? So what if somebody has a hard experience, challenging experiences when they encounter other people? Does that really affect how they breathe? Does that really affect their physical and mental health? Well, you tell me. Take a moment to consider how you feel when you're in a really stressful situation. Consider how you feel when somebody's constantly, consistently pushing your buttons, challenging your authority or your position, your expertise, your knowledge, your talent, your skill. Take a moment to consider not only how you breathe in that situation, but how your whole body feels based on the way you're. Next time you exhale, release your bind. As you exhale, bend your knees. If your back is healthy, roll up one vertebrae at a time. If you're having some issues with your back, inhale to that half lift. Exhale, hands to the hips, core engages, pressing down, whole body up again. And then as you inhale, stretch your arms overhead. Take that baby back bend as you like it on the exhale. And then inhale, lift your body up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, walk forward to high plank, table, or you can stand your half lift. High planks and tables, make sure your shoulders are back and your heels are back. If you're in high plank, make sure your quadriceps are engaged so the kneecaps are lifted, thighs firm. Gaze in front of you, but don't lift your head too far above your shoulders. Make sure your hips aren't above your armpits, but not down by your elbows. And then see if you can push your spine up in between your shoulder blades. Take a deep breath in and bring your body forward. Exhale, puppy dog, especially if you're pregnant. Otherwise, you can lower all the way down or fold forward if you're standing. Prenatal variations are cow pose, sphinx with a little cushion under your hips and thighs, tadasana on your knees or feet, or high plank and hold. And everyone just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Take a moment to open up your heart here.
Inhale, up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx, and hold.
You know very much about Miles Davis. You know there's a lot of people who are mad at Miles and mad about Miles. I mean, Miles was a very angry man. He had a history where he struggled with not only anger management, but also with cocaine and heroin addiction. Broke both ankles at one point in a car accident, and that just made his situation worse. He was, by all accounts, a narcissistic, abusive jerk. I mean, a talented narcissistic, abusive jerk, but no less of a narcissistic, abusive jerk. Pearl Cleage, the author of Mad at Miles, A Black Woman's Guide to Truth, often will speak of Miles Davis's abuse, not because she experienced it, but because she wants people to be more aware of how they interact with people, with other people, especially people that might have less power than them, but also to consider how you interact with people when you're angry and you feel that you've been mistreated. As you exhale, you can press back to tabletop, or if you're standing, fold forward. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog or fold forward. Downward facing dog, this is your first Adho Mukha Svanasana. So take a moment to check your asana, check your seat. For this pose, it's going to be your hands and feet. You want to make sure your fingers are pointed forward and spread wide. Middle fingers pointed forward, joints of the thumb and first finger pressed into the mat. As you relax your head and shoulders, take a moment to make sure your big toes are parallel to each other. Big toes behind your thumbs or behind your middle fingers. Press your spine to your thighs, thighs behind you, hips high, heels low. As you exhale, bend your knees a little bit. As you inhale, find a little bit of cow pose, so you have a straight line from your wrists through your elbows and shoulders into your hips. And then as you exhale, rotate the pointy part of your elbows towards your big toes and a little closer to your nose. Take a moment to scan your body. Notice how it feels. Maybe even express a little gratitude for the sensation, the information that informs your practice. And then with awareness as well as with gratitude, start to move. You could bend your knees one at a time or at the same time. Lift one leg high and then the other, or lift up an arm. You could add a twist or come back to your knees, but whatever you do on one side, do something similar and complementary on the other side. In an interview where she was asked about some of her favorite music, and she mentioned specifically Miles Davis, the playwright and author Pearl Cleage said in a 2012 interview for Atlanta Magazine that people shouldn't feel guilty about enjoying the music. She said, no, you should not feel guilty. Miles is dead. We can just hope the next time he comes around, his spirit and his personality will be as lovely as his music. Move through one more full cycle of breath, and then on your next exhale, find stillness. As you inhale, nod your head yes to taking the deepest, richest breaths you've taken all day. As you exhale, shake your head no to taking your breath for granted. And as you inhale, nod your head yes to the joy of recognizing why someone else might be having a hard time breathing. As you inhale, stretch back. Exhale, walk your hands to your feet or bring your hands and feet together. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive. You can take it all the way into the back bend as you like. And then exhale, hands come through, heart center at the back of your mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up, maybe take that back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, walk forward, high plank, table, or half lift. Hold here for a moment, make sure your shoulders are pressing down. Again, you want hips in line with your shoulders or your armpits, spine in line with your shoulder blades as they press down and back, ears in line with your deltoids, not below your armpits. Take a deep breath in, gazing forward. Exhale, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, up dog, cobra cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx, and hold and breathe. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Miles Davis once said, if you understood everything I say, you'd be me. Next time you exhale, press back to tabletop, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, high plank, cow pose or half lift. Exhale, downward facing dog or fold forward. So moving one breath, one motion. As you inhale, stretch back. Exhale, walk your hands to your feet or bring your hands and feet together. Inhale, half lift, flat back, really extend your spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts, take it into the back bend if that makes sense for you. Exhale, hands come through heart center at the back of your mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up, maybe take the back bend. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, walk forward, high plank table or half lift. Take a deep breath in, glide forward, or if you're in tabletop, you can come into cow pose. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, up dog, cobra cow, Tadasana, high plank or sphinx. Exhale, down facing dog, take the extra push-up or fold forward. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Eyes on your nose, your belly button or the space between your toes. Take one more inhale, just like this. One more exhale, just like this. And the next time you inhale, make your way to cow pose, knees to the mat, heart lifts, hips lift, belly drops down, or you can come into a standing half lift position with elbows on your thighs, knees and elbows bent. But if you're in that tabletop, if you're in that half lift position, make your way to the front of the mat. And then everyone, as you exhale, you're gonna curl your right toes under. Inhale, stretch your right leg back. Shift your weight forward and back for a moment. And then next time you exhale, take a moment to find stillness, front to back, and explore the imbalance left or right. So just shift the weight over to the left side and then to the right side. Maybe lift up a hand and put it back down. Lift up the other hand, seal it back down. And then find the balance left and right. As you exhale, zip up. Again, spread your toes, squeeze your perineum muscles together, belly button up and back. Make sure the right hip is aligned with the left. You can stay here in this awkward table. For next time you exhale, use your core, lift the right heel up as high as your right hip. For a three-legged table, make sure the right hip and knee are rotated down. You might need a little cushion under that left knee, or you might need to put something under the left shin to take the weight completely off the knee. Stay here as you inhale, stretch your left arm forward. Left thumb up for a two-legged table. Everyone stretch the shoulders, press the shoulders down your back and breathe. Again, make sure you're zipped up here. You're spreading your toes, squeezing your perineum muscles together, drawing your belly button up and back. Remember, squeezing the perineum or spreading the toes, that's your pada bandha, that's your foot lock. Squeezing your perineum muscles together, that's your mula bandha, your root lock. Belly button up and back is your uddiyana bandha, your abdominal core lock. Chin towards your throat, that's your Jalandhara bandha. I know you've heard this before. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, bring your left hand down, step your right foot in between your hands. You might need to take your back knee back a little bit. And then as you inhale, keep your hands down and extend your heart and your gaze up. And then exhale, sink back, hips towards the heels so the right leg extends, right toes go up in the air. Inhale, come into your lunge. And then exhale, sink back. So you're just going back and forth again, extending the leg on the exhale because you're flexing the left knee a little bit more. And then bending the right knee as you inhale because you're getting a little more extension through the left hip and thigh. I know it's not the way we normally do it. It's a little prenatally. And it also is a little outside the box. Next time you exhale, bend your right knee and hold here. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, curl your back toes under. Inhale, lift your back thigh high. Exhale, step your left foot up to meet the right, folding forward. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lift. Exhale, hands come through the heart center at the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath, bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, right leg steps back, low lunge. We're going to balance out. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your right knee down, right toes back. Give yourself a little cushion if you need it. And then hands on either side of your left ankle. If you need to, bring the hands inside of the left ankle. Either way, you lunge on the inhale, you lift the heart, lift the gaze, let the hips drop down. And then as you exhale, sink your hips back to the right heel so the left leg extends, left toes go up. And then inhale, come back into your lunge. And then exhale, sink back. And again, no bouncing here. Follow the breath. Still using the whole inhale to extend. You're just extending through the backside. Still using the whole exhale to flex. Again, It's just that the focus is on the back or on the back leg rather than on the front leg. But also notice that the front leg is still getting some benefit here. Even though we shift the awareness a little bit, even though we put emphasis on a different part of our system, doesn't mean that everyone doesn't still benefit. Move through 2 more full cycles. And then next time you inhale into your lunge, exhale in your lunge with the left knee bent. And then next time you exhale, curl the back toes under. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog or fold forward. Inhale, high plank, cow pose or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, up dog, cobra cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog, take the extra push up or fold forward. Deep breath in, deep breath out. So balancing out, as you inhale, come to cow pose or to that standing half lift with elbows and knees bent, elbows on the thighs. And then everyone, as you exhale, curl the left toes under. Inhale, stretch the left leg back with the toes still on the mat. Shift your weight. You might need cushion onto that right knee, but you're going to shift your weight forward and back for a moment. And then once you've found the balance in between the imbalance forward and back, once you recognize that there's a tendency to put more weight on certain part of your body, engage parts of your body a little bit more, then start to explore that same imbalance left and right. You can do that just by swaying your body, or you could lift up an arm and then bring it down and lift up the other arm. In this case, feel free to sway to the music. And then find a moment of stillness. Gaze forward. That left leg is still extended behind you. Take a moment to zip up here. Again, engage your bandhas. Spread your toes. Squeeze your perineum muscles together. Belly button up and back. Notice how drawing the pelvic floor up engages your lower abdominal cavity. Belly button up and back engages your upper abdominal cavity and gives you that flying up feeling. And remember, if you're pregnant, you're closing that funky zipper. Stay in your awkward table, or next time you exhale, use your floor, lift your left heel up as high as your left hip, but keep that internal rotation so the left knee and toes point down. You can even look back and see if you're pointing down or see if your left toes are pointing to the left. You can stay on your 3-legged table, or as you inhale, stretch your right arm forward into your 2-legged table. Let's take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. I mentioned before that I often think of jazz and improvisational comedy as well, but improvisational jazz when I think of being fearless. But I also think about people like Sally Ride and Krista McCullough. Sally Ride was fearless because she did, to paraphrase McCullough, say yes to a seat on a rocket. As you exhale, plant your hands down, step your left foot in between your hands. Maybe take the right knee back a little bit, again, giving yourself a little cushion. Inhale, extend your spine, and exhale, sink your hips back again. You're just going to do it 3 times at this time. And then after that third exhale in its own natural occurrence, or after that third inhale, I should say, when you exhale into your lunge, you're going to hold the lunge on the inhale, let the hips drop down, and then bring your left hand inside of your left foot, a left ankle on the floor or a prop, and you can stay here, or next time you exhale, bend your right knee, reach back and grab your right foot or the right toes, whatever's available. Maybe it's the pants leg or a strap. If the kneeling position doesn't work for you, then you could always lie down on your left side, and then with your legs stretched out on the floor, you could bend your right knee and use your right hand to hug that right heel into the hip. Those of you that are in the kneeling position, you can keep the left hand down on the floor, or go ahead and rise up so the left arm comes to your left leg. You want your sit bones drawing down in that kneeling position. You want the heel coming towards the hip. And then as you're able, you can stretch that left arm up and reach it back, adding that little baby back. So remember, you got that right hand on your right foot. And then next time you exhale, release your binds. Bring your hands to the mat. Curl the back toes under. As you inhale, come to your low lunge. Those of you on your side body, you're going to meet a standing forward fold. Low lunges. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, right foot up. Step into your standing forward fold. So everybody walk your feet in towards your hands or your hands in towards your feet. And then inhale to your half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands to heart center at the front of your mat. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath, bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, low lunge. We're going to balance out. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your left knee down, left toes back. Give yourself cushion as you need it. Inhale, extend your spine in your lunge. Exhale, sink back, straightening out your right leg. So just 3 of these. And then after that third inhale, you're going to keep the lunge as you exhale. And then bend your left knee or bring your right hand inside of the right ankle on the floor or a prop. And then either stay here or bend the left knee, reach the left hand back, grab what's available. If the kneeling position doesn't work for you, this variation of Ekapada Rajakopatasana, lie down on your right side with your legs stretched out, and then bend your left knee and hug the heel into the hip, press the hip into the heel as the sit bones draw down. And stay here, or lift your right arm up to your right thigh. Again, sit bones down so the pubic bone is up, heel to the hip. Start leaning your shoulders back. And if you want to stretch the right arm up, get that little baby back then, feel free to do so. If you're feeling really wobbly today, take your feet a little bit further apart, left to right. See if that helps a little bit. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Sally Ride said, I love the John Glenn model. I may call NASA in 25 years or so and see if they'd like to send me to Mars. And she probably would have if she hadn't been too busy teaching in her post-NASA years, running public outreach programs for NASA, serving on 2 aerospace accident investigation boards, writing 7 books for children, and starting with her partner and running the Sally Ride Science, which creates, to this day, entertaining science programs and publications aimed at upper elementary and middle school children. Next time you exhale, release your bind, curl the back toes under, inhale to your low lunge. This time we really are going to downward facing dog. So if you're on your side, meet us in that downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank, cow pose, or half lift. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, up dog, cobra, cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take the extra push up or fold forward. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Take a moment to notice what's shifted. Notice what's changed. And then next time you inhale, stretch back. If you're really talented, as you exhale your hands to your feet, you could roll your mat up together or bring your hands and feet together, but that requires even more talent. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, reverse swan dive, arms lift, heart lifts. Exhale, hands come through heart center. So you're going to need a prop for this. You could use a rolled up mat, which is why I made that funny comment about rolling up your mat as you walked your hands to your feet. You could use a wrist guard or a blanket or a pillow. You could use a block, but that's a little bit more challenging, and usually you want like 2 blocks or 2 books for this. But what you want to do is put the prop in front of you, give yourself a little space behind you, like about a leg length space behind you, and then either put both feet so that the toes and the ball of your feet are elevated on your prop and your heels on the floor, or you could just put one foot on the prop so that it's elevated on the incline and your other foot is stepped back. If you do that one-legged variation, you want to make sure that your feet are at least as far apart as your armpits. Everyone, make sure your sit bones are down, pubic bone is up. Let's take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. So make sure your heels are down on the floor and your arch is somewhere suspended between the floor and the prop that's supporting the ball of your feet. And then those of you that have both feet, or actually everyone, you can stay here, or next time you exhale, flex from your hips and fold. And as you inhale, come to that half lift position, flat back, hands on the floor on the prop so that you can keep your legs straight and really feel the extension through the low back. Even give yourself a little bit of an exaggerated baby back bend here. So if your legs are apart, one foot in front of the other, but in their own separate lanes, it's a little like pyramid pose with that front foot elevated. And then those of you that are doing one leg at a time, go ahead and lift your body up and switch your feet. And meet us back in the forward fold. Everyone in the forward fold, make sure your shoulders are down your back. And if you need to lift your body up higher on a prop to get your legs straight, do that. Make sure you have the right stuff to address what you want to address and engage what you want to engage. And then everyone, inhale to your half lift. Exhale, hands to your hips, core engages. Pressing down as you inhale, lift your whole body up. As you exhale, relax your arms down. So go ahead and step off of your prop. You can wiggle out your feet, maybe stretch out, wiggle out your hips, maybe stretch out your feet by turning the toes back, getting yourself a little extra extension through the front of your foot. And then unroll your mat if you used your mat as your prop. And coming back to the back of your mat again, as you inhale, lift your arms overhead. Exhale, swan dive. Take your whole breath. Bring your heart to your thighs. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, walk forward, high plank table, or keep your half lift. Take a deep breath in to extend. Exhale, chaturanga, puppy dog, lower all the way down or fold. Inhale, up dog, cobra cow, tadasana, high plank or sphinx. Exhale, downward facing dog, take the extra push-up or fold forward. Deep breath in, deep breath out. So we're going to make our way into sphinx pose. If you're pregnant, you're going to want a little cushion under your hips and thighs. Downward facing dogs, as you inhale, come to cow pose or high plank. Exhale, puppy dog or lower all the way down. Set up your props as you need to, and then everyone inhale to sphinx pose. So your legs are going to be stretched out behind you, elbows in front of your chest so that you can look down your sphinx nose and see your elbows without turning your head. And then we're going to come into a little bit of a funky frog here. We're going to do it a little differently than we've done it in the past, unless you were, here earlier this week. As you inhale or as you exhale, you're going to slide your right knee up towards your right armpit. Keep it on the floor. So typically I say right hip, knee, and ankle at 90 degrees. So the knee is in line with the hips or as close as that's available to you. Right knee over the ankle with the toes pointed away from the body. And if you have a lot of tightness in the hip, you might put a prop like a rolled up towel or blanket underneath that right hip so that you can wedge a block under there. But you want to make sure that you have balance left and right here. Today, you also have the option of bringing that right foot in a little closer to your left leg, so it's more like a tree pose in your lower body. It just makes an acute angle instead of a right angle. And then prenatal variation is to make sure that you've made a baby in belly, which means that you may decide that you're going to stay right here. Everyone else, you have the option to stretch your left arm out on the floor. Maybe stretch it out so that it is angled towards the right side of your mat. And then lay your upper body on your left arm so your left ear and cheek are resting on the arm. And then everyone just take a moment to relax, to release, and to rest. I'm going to let you get into your sacroiliac joint, get into your pelvic region and how it's all put together, and get a little release through there, which may also help your back relax. Take one more inhale. One more exhale. Last full cycle of breath here. And then very mindfully, use your inhale to lift your heart up into Sphinx pose. Settle here for a moment and then stretch your right leg back to meet the left. See how that feels for a moment. And then coming into that funky frog on the left side, as you exhale, bring your left knee up towards your left hip. Start off with the hips, knee, and ankle at 90 degrees. Left toes pointed away from the body. See how that feels? Find your balance left and right, because there's a tendency already to want to lean to the right here. And then if you decide that you want that more acute angle, adjust. Bring that left foot in towards the right leg. And then stay here or stretch your right arm out on the floor, maybe so it angles toward the left side of your mat, and let your body relax down so that the right cheek and ear are resting on the right bicep. Just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Make sure you're filling up as you inhale, emptying out as you exhale. In fact, inhale space like you're in outer space, and exhale a little music. I mentioned that Sally Ride didn't intend to be a role model. She specifically said, I never went into physics or the astronaut corps to become a role model. But after my first flight, it became clear to me that I was one. And I began to understand the importance of that to people. Young girls need to see role models in whatever careers they may choose, just so they can picture themselves doing those jobs someday. You can't be what you can't see. As you inhale, come back into your Sphinx. Take a moment here or into your funky frog, and then stretch your left leg back into your Sphinx. As you exhale, press back to tabletop, or if you're not pregnant, you can lie down flat on your belly. Tabletops press back into your puppy dog. If you lay down flat on your belly, you can bend your knees and windshield wiper your legs. There's so much innovation from people that are earthbound. And yet, just as Sally Ride said, there's some people, just as Kristen McCullough said, some people that always want to get to outer space, see what's out there, make some new discovery there. I'm in a cue bridge and wheel pose with options. If you prefer a different back bend, feel free to do what you need to do. Ustrasana camel pose might feel particularly good today. We did do poses that would kind of set you up for that. Everyone else, when you get on your back, you're going to stretch out and then bend your knees so the feet are flat on the floor. Invisible orange under your chin, invisible grapefruit in between your thighs. Or you can put a prop between your thighs to strengthen your adductors. And then as you inhale, use the strength of your legs to lift your hips up. As you exhale, shrug your shoulders under your back. You can use your hands or a prop to support your low back. If you're coming into full wheel pose, inhale your arms overhead. As you exhale, bend your elbows, fingertips under your shoulders, elbows squeeze in. Wheel poses as you inhale, come up to the crown of your head. As you exhale, get a nice firm grip. Inhale or exhale lifts you all the way up. If you supported your low back with your hands or a prop, feel free to lift your legs up for a suspended bridge or stretch your legs out for an extended bridge. Doesn't matter who we are. Doesn't matter how we identify or how other people identify us. In order to see ourselves somewhere, we need to see ourselves somewhere. We need to see someone like us, thriving, growing, being successful, breathing, and living their best life. Wheel poses lower down to bridge with your arms overhead. Bridge poses, bend your knees, remove your support, reach your arms overhead. As you inhale, come up to your tippy toes. As you exhale, slowly lower down one vertebrae at a time. Once your hips are on the mat, gently, mindfully windshield wiper your knees. And then if you're on your back, come into supine bound angle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of the feet together like a prayer, knees open up like the pages of a book. You can have your heels in close to activate your adductors, or take the heels a little bit further away to activate your abductors, but make sure your knees are comfortable and your low back is comfortable, even if you have to put a prop under each thigh. If you're coming out of a pose other than bridge or wheel pose, if you're not comfortable on your back, you can always take a wide-legged child's pose here, or a seated bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana, feet together like a prayer, knees open up like the pages of a book in the seated position. Wherever you are, take a moment to breathe deeply in and breathe deeply out. And then bring your knees together. If you're on your back and you're pregnant, keep your feet on the floor, roll to the left to sit up. Everyone else, you can bring your knees into your chest, move around a little bit, and then either roll over to your left to sit up, or you can rock and roll. But either way, everyone's going to start in a stump pose, knees bent up to the armpits, so the feet and the legs are at least as far apart as your armpits. And then setting up for mermaid stag, sit up nice and tall as you inhale. Exhale, drop your knees over to the right so that the right foot is up against your left inner thigh. If you want to make this more of a sage twist, rather than have that left heel away from your left hip in a broken wing, you could adjust the left shin so the left toes point straight back and the left side of your body is in hero's pose. And if you do that and you feel comfortable bringing that right ankle on top of the left thigh, close to the left hip, you can do that, but only if it's comfortable on your knees and only if you have balance in your hips. No matter which variation you're in, if you're slumping into that right hip, put something under it. And then everyone sit up nice and tall as you inhale. And as you exhale, rotate your upper body to the right. Right hand behind your hips, left hand cups your right knee. Press down, lift up as you inhale. Twist and rinse as you exhale. You can keep your gaze over your right shoulder, or next time you inhale, bring your chin to center And then as you exhale, gaze over your left shoulder, but keep your heart open to the right. And everyone find a little baby back bend here. So at different times over the last month, over the last few years, I talk about the chakras. Different parts of our body are energetically, symbolically associated with different parts of our lives. But also those energetic areas, those symbolic areas are also associated with sounds and colors. And how everything stacks up, builds up one on top. So how where we come from plays a part in the relationships that we make. Where we come from and the relationships we make plays a part in how we see ourselves. Where we come from, the relationships we make and how we see ourselves plays a part in how we offer a heart, express ourselves and offer our hearts to the world, as well as how we express ourselves or how determined we are to express ourselves. As you inhale, come to center. As you exhale, bring your knees up into that stump pose. Adjust your props as you need to. And then take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, drop your knees over to the left and set up for your mermaid stag on the left side. Left foot up against your right inner thigh. Right heel away from the right hip for that broken wing. Or if you took the sage twist on the other side, adjust the right knee and shin so the right side of your body is in Virasana Hero's pose. And in that Virasana Hero's pose, if it's accessible to you, you could bring your left ankle across your right hip thigh, right at the hip. Everyone press down, lift up again. Make sure you're not dumping on that left hip because that's just going to encourage the right hip to cramp up. And then as you exhale, rotate your upper body to the left. Left hand behind your left hip or beside your left hip. Right hand cups your left knee. It's just giving a little extra stability to the knee. Press down, lift up as you inhale, twist and rinse as you exhale. So using the arms for a little bit of stability, a little bit of traction, but don't really pull and force yourself into the twist by virtue of the strength of the arms. You can keep your chin over your left shoulder, or as you inhale, bring your chin to center. And as you exhale, gaze over your right shoulder. So just for a moment, I want to talk about the last two. I want to talk about blue and green. Green is the color associated with the heart chakra. Again, how we express our heart, how we open our heart, embrace others, embrace ourselves, embrace a moment, how we offer our gifts to the world. Blue is associated with our throat chakra. And so it's associated with will and determination, as well as with expression. How does your determination, your will show up in the way you offer your gifts to the world, the way you offer your perspective to the world? It's a color combination that makes role models, blue and green. If you added a little something extra on the other side, this is a good time to add a little something extra here. And then everyone, use your next inhale to come back to center. Exhale, hug the knees into your armpits. Wrap the arms around your legs in your stump pose, forehead into your knees. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Look up to center or all the way up to the ceiling. Open your mouth and sigh it out. Look down as you inhale. Look up, open your mouth, sigh it out. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then as you inhale, just let your breath naturally flow in and naturally ebb out. If you want to move into a final pose other than Shavasana, feel free to do so. Otherwise, take a moment to very mindfully lower down to your back one vertebrae at a time. And then once you're on your back with your knees bent, stretch out one leg as you inhale, doesn't matter which one. And then exhale, let that leg relax. Inhale, stretch out the other leg. Exhale, let that leg relax. Take a moment to find that place where you feel comfortable, where you feel stable, where you feel earthbound, even though your heart is soaring. And then take a moment to breathe in space. Breathe in the space you're in. Breathe as if you have unlimited space. And as you breathe out something melodic, something musical, something lovely and beautiful. Feel free to stay here as long as you'd like. If you'd like to be guided out of your final pose, reawaken your body. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Deep open mouth sigh. Deep breath in through your nose. Deep sigh out. Gently rock your head side to side. Gently bring motion to your fingers and toes. Being mindful of the space around you, inhale your arms overhead and take a full body stretch. Reach through your fingers, reach through your toes. Walk your feet in towards your seat, extending through your low back. Prenatal area is just to roll to the left. Everyone else roll to the right. Just take a moment to be here. Take a moment to breathe here. Take a moment to notice how you feel here. And then when you're ready, use the strength of your arms to press up to a comfortable seated position. Eyes closed if that's comfortable for you. Hands together at heart center. Take a moment to rub your palms together. Create a little heat, a little energy, a little awareness. And then bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. And soak up that heat, that energy, that awareness. You can take your hands to any other part of your body, any other part of your being that needs a little extra heat, energy, or awareness. And then shake out your hands and we'll feel in the practice. You can take your hands back together at heart center or switch which hand is at your heart, which hand is your belly. In a 2006 interview with the Academy of Achievement in Washington, D.C., Sally Ride said, "I would like to be remembered as someone who was not afraid to do what she wanted to do and as someone who took risk along the way in order to achieve her goals." Take a moment to consider how you would like to be remembered. And then take a moment to live that life. As you inhale, lift your thumbs to your third eye. And as you exhale, bow forward. Namaste.
And that's the practice. Thank you so much for sharing your time and sharing your practice. Please like, share, and comment with kindness. And when you do, please leave me a 7-word comment. And I'll see you next time.